The amphitheater fell silent as Commander Marcus Rivera stepped onto the training platform. 47 pairs of alien eyes tracked his every movement, each belonging to cadets from the various species that comprised the Galactic Defense Coalition. The Zalarian instructor, Professor Kethvar, gestured with one of his forearms toward the human. "Today, we have the privilege of observing combat techniques from Terra," Kethvar announced, his translator rendering his clicks and whistles into standard galactic. Commander Rivera has volunteered to demonstrate what humans consider elementary hand-to-hand combat. A ripple of polite interest passed through the assembled cadets. The Vortak delegation, tall, ethereal beings who resolved conflicts through telepathic consensus, leaned forward with scientific curiosity. The stocky Grimaldi, despite their warrior culture, seemed genuinely intrigued by what these peculiar bipeds from the galaxy's rim might offer. Rivera nodded to the class, his expression calm and professional. "I'll be demonstrating some basic techniques we teach to civilian populations on Earth. Nothing advanced, just simple self-defense moves any human teenager would know." He moved to the center of the platform where a standard coalition combat android awaited. The machine was programmed to simulate various alien physiologies and stood roughly 7 feet tall, its chrome surface reflecting the amphitheater's lights. "First, a basic defensive position," Rivera said, raising his hands. The movement seemed unremarkable to the watching aliens, until he exploded into motion. What happened next would be discussed in xenopsychology classes for decades. Rivera's first strike came with a speed that registered as barely more than a blur on the recording equipment. His fist connected with the android's center mass with a sound like thunder. The machine, designed to withstand assault from the galaxy's strongest species, staggered backward, its chest plate visibly dented. A Zalarian cadet's mouth fell open, all 4 arms trembling. Several Vortak had gone completely rigid, their natural telepathic composure shattered by the violence they'd witnessed. But Rivera wasn't finished. He spun, his legs sweeping in an arc that would have seemed graceful if it hadn't been delivered with enough force to buckle the android's reinforced knee joint. As the machine toppled, Rivera caught it by what served as its head and drove his knee upward. The impact sent fragments of the android's cranial unit scattering across the platform. The demonstration lasted 12 seconds. In the aftermath, the only sound was the soft whir of the amphitheater's ventilation system. Professor Kethvar's 4 eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of deep distress among his species. "Commander," Kethvar's voice carried a tremor that the translator couldn't quite mask. "You said this was basic?" Rivera straightened, barely breathing hard. "Standard self-defense, yes, sir. We teach this to our children before they're old enough to drive. Most humans could perform similar techniques with minimal training." A Grimaldi cadet, a species that prided itself on martial prowess, raised a shaking hand. "Your people. All of your people can do this?" "Well, not everyone's in peak physical condition," Rivera replied modestly. "But these are fundamental techniques, yes. We have professional fighters who are significantly more capable." The word significantly hung in the air like a toxic gas. Professor Kethvar slowly approached the destroyed android, his optical sensors recording the devastation. The machine had been rated to withstand assault from a fully grown Grimaldi berserker. Rivera had dismantled it with what he claimed were child's techniques. "Commander," Kethvar said carefully, "perhaps we should discuss revising the combat curriculum." "Oh, absolutely," Rivera agreed cheerfully. "I brought some training videos from our military academies. Nothing too advanced, just intermediate techniques our soldiers learn in basic training." The collective sound that rose from the alien cadets defied translation. It was part terror, part awe, and entirely the sound of 47 different species simultaneously realizing why humans had never been conquered. As Rivera began setting up his display equipment, several cadets quietly began updating their personal logs. The entry would be the same across species. Note to self: never invade Terra. The universe had just become a much more interesting and terrifying place.